Sundress and a golden smile. She's a sweetheart in a little while, and she speaks soft like a lullaby. And she just turned 23.
Good morning, sunshine.
I'm waiting for it now. That's the tag. That's how I know it's starting. It's like the gunshot beginning of a race. I wait for that. Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning, sunshine.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
It's official. I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I was up at 4 a.m. 3 a.m. I had bad dreams. Do your dreams feel so real at times that you don't know if they're real, and when you wake up and you actually feel sad and stuff?
Yes. It's funny you say that because I actually talked about this to my best friend, I think it was last week or the week before. I started taking creatine.
Oh, okay.
And
For,
I don't
like,
know,
working out?
Yeah, for working out. And I don't know what the hell it triggered, but I wake up in the morning and I remember my dreams as if it happened in my life, like the day of. So and it's sometimes they're sad, sometimes they're fun.
I've been bitten by a dog in a dream and wake up and I feel like the pain in my leg afterwards. Like I feel
Really?
like it's not like I have bite marks or anything, but it's like I feel the pain, the real pain. So when something happens in a dream, and especially if it's female based and it's something like hurt or like, like my brain, all the bad things my brain tells me at times, sometimes my dream generators make those dreams for me. And I wake up sad and whatnot. And I woke up at 3 a.m. and I was like angry of something that I dreamt that last night. And then I couldn't go back to sleep. And then I thought it was a memory. So that sucks. I hate that feeling.
Yeah, it's not fun.
But
That's
besides
not fun
that, everything is honky dory. I had my Adderall early, so I'm
Interesting.
hello.
Okay. Well, hello, real Mario.
Hello. Hey,
I'm kidding.
So rude.
I'm kidding.
So yeah, I had my Adderall early. So, but I want to mention something that kind of triggered me a little bit, Pat. Your post a couple days ago, where you were angry, and it made me so angry on the mental health thing that someone that was let go, or not let go. They were like, for those people that maybe didn't see the post, maybe you can talk about the post and what it was, and then I'll tell you my comments on that.
Well, I mean, it's very, very simple. So basically, a friend of mine contacted me and asked me to share a situation that was happening in his workplace. And basically, the guy's like, he's been having issues with his workplace for a while now. And so there came a time where he asked for time off. And so he asked his employer for time off. He said in the email that he needed it for his mental health, right? Which is very precise. And he sent me the answer. And that's what basically triggered the crap out of me. The answer was, no, we only give sick days to people who are genuinely ill. That's the answer that he got. And
what happened since? Like, is there an update on what happened since?
Yes. So I'll probably do a post on it. So I'm gonna wait to post it to give the update. But yes, things have happened. But it's just a comment, dude. To me, it was just this came from and it came from the accountant. It wasn't even our HR or something. It just came from the accountant, right? So to me, it was like, holy crap! I can't believe that in 2025, after everything we've talked about, with throughout the years about anxiety, burnout, depression, suicidal thoughts, how mental health is such a I don't want to say like an underrated, or how would I say that? Like it's a subject we don't talk about enough. Is that underrated? No.
Yeah.
It
drove me insane when I saw that in society. Well, I just look at the way I was brought up, where you can't talk about things, and that's kind of ingrained in us, especially men. Men don't like talking about mental health. A lot of men don't talk about mental health, or they talk about it when it's too far gone.
Mm-hmm.
Or you find out that they unalive themselves and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no clue.
I had no idea.
Because no one talked about it.
Yeah.
And then you have fucked up employers like your buddies that can't accept mental health as a real condition?
Yeah.
Do they not know what world we live in? Do they not understand? Do they not turn the TV on? Do they not look at social media? Like, it drove me nuts to hear that.
I know.
And I can't believe it. And I feel so bad for that person. And I wish we could oust the company. I wish we can tell everyone in the world about this company. I wish this company,
Same.
nothing besides bankruptcy, and they should not be in work. They should not be allowed to be able to deal with human beings, because it's an outrage. It's an outrage that people deal with that. And I really hope that if you're listening to this, you're not dealing with that at your workplace, and they understand. And if you do, just fucking leave, because they don't
Yeah.
deserve people like you.
Have you seen the comments though, dude? Like the comments.
Dude, I couldn't. I'm
Oh
serious,
my
I
God, dude.
couldn't.
I think there's almost 1,000 comments and like a bunch of people that have been through the same thing. And that's, you just said it, dude. I wish with all of my heart and mind that I could expose these people.
Oh,
I wish I could expose the company,
yeah.
but I wish I could expose the person's
No kidding.
first name and last name. I would give all this information because
It's almost an injustice that you can't. Like, it's sad that you can't. It's
Exactly.
really sad that you can't. Like, and I don't like, I've never, like, especially nowadays, I try to be kind to everybody. I try
Yeah,
to
of
like
course.
live, very harmonious and everything
Mhm.
else. Even when people cut me off in traffic, or if something happens, I try to be like, okay. And I've gotten the finger from people in traffic, and it's just like, I wonder what kind of bad day or life they're living, like, I try to go there until I heard that. When I heard that post, like, Donnie
Yeah.
Brasco kicked in me, and I was like, let's grab the bat and go down there and cause some pain to these people. Like, that's where, like, obviously
Yeah,
I
it's
wouldn't,
tough.
and I'm not, encouraging physical violence, but
No.
it's one of those things where it's just like, what is wrong with people? What is
And like
wrong with people?
the law protects them. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like the law is so badly made because like you'd want to expose these people, but you can't because then they can come after you for defamation or whatever, and it's just
Yeah.
like
Maybe in Canada.
and they continue to do it, and that's what pisses it pisses me off so bad that they just continue to do this
Mhm.
and they get away from it. I found out this company's got like 10 not 10 lawsuits, but like 10 official complaints against
Wow.
them with anyways, so it's crazy, dude.
It's
crazy.
insane. But in
Yeah.
Canada, I know, like, in Canada, you can't really here, dude. If that was in the United States and shit like that went down, like, the defamation suit, is that person still working there?
Like I said, I'm gonna update you guys.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna update you all.
Whatever. It's terrible. But
Social media. Follow me on social media if you want to know the rest.
yeah. But it
Yeah.
goes back to that self-worth. Can you imagine that person? Like, what did your buddy feel like that after, like, just that self?
Well,
It's hard enough for them to say, I need a mental health day, and then for a company to be like that. And it goes really to one of the things I want to talk about today on the show is communication. We've talked about communication, I feel like, in every show.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I've dealt with this week when I was in therapy and it's one of the things I want to talk about today is I've done so much work in trying to communicate with people in general that I care about and that I love. Some of the things that my brain will tell me what the outcome will be. So if I ask a question, my brain goes into this mode of, I wonder what they're going to say. And my brain sometimes gives me multiple choices. And it says, well, he or she could say this, she could say that, they could say this. And these are the two things that will hurt and sting the most. Let's hope she doesn't say that. But for the best result, don't even ask or don't even say what's on your mind in that moment, because percentages are that you're going to feel hurt and you're not going to get what you want. So just don't say anything. And a lot of times my body and brain will be about, and by the way, here's a sample. If she says this, here's a sample of what that's going to feel like if she says the thing that hurts you the most. And I feel the hurt. I feel physical pain. And it pushes me down even more in my self-esteem. in being able to just be fluent and talk about it. My therapist said, well, the more you practice this, the better you'll get at understanding, you know. And I want to ask you, have you dealt with that in your past relationships? And how did you deal with that? Because I know these days you're a lot more vocal. You won't take that much shit from anyone. And I want to know, like, have you dealt with that? And how did you get to the point where you're more vocal and you're like, fuck you, I'm out?
That's a great question. I tell you the truth. I actually feel sometimes like I have to reintroduce myself. You know what I mean? Like
No.
I've changed. I've changed so much in the past 2 years that sometimes I just feel like for everybody who thinks they know me, like I should reintroduce myself. Because back then I had no boundaries. I wasn't as vocal. I wasn't this and that. So to answer your question, yes. And I'm going to tell you this: who hasn't? Who
Right.
hasn't been through a situation like that where they wanted to say something and they were terrified of the result, and maybe because of that situation they stopped speaking up because they know exactly how it's going to turn out. And I hate that for people because, again, if you say that out loud, it sounds ridiculous because you
Mhm.
should be in relationships, whether they're friendship or intimate. You should be able to be like, you know what? I can tell this person whatever I need to or whatever I want to. And it's okay because they're still going to be there. They're still going to love me. It's not going to change anything. Whereas I think that in today's society, most people don't because they're terrified of, hurting someone's feelings or losing a friend or breaking up with their spouse because of the situation. And so you just shut up. You don't say a single word. You just pile everything under the rug. And we all know how that goes. Eventually, what happens, it explodes. So, yeah, of course, I've been through that
But
many
I
times.
I have a lot easier time doing it with people that I don't give a shit about these days. Before it was like I had to make sure everyone liked me. You know,
Yeah.
that part of that whole demise into my manic episode was make sure everyone likes you. Don't let them see the real you. Because if they see the real you, they may judge you. So just keep on pretending you're a person that you're really not, and everyone will like you, right? And it kept on pushing down emotions and pushing down emotions, pushing down emotions. Nowadays, if you're not within my circle, if you're not within my sphere, it doesn't matter. You know, good luck. I wish you well. Bye. See you later. The people that are closest to me, when I have something that's hard to say to them, that's when I start closing down. Like, and it's only certain topics. And I'm really trying to work hard on that. But I'm struggling a lot because I don't know how to get past that barrier of hurt. Because once you feel that hurt, Pat, once you know what that feels like, it sucks. And you're like, wait, I'm gonna steer far away from that pain and not even bring it up. And I'm struggling with that one, dude. I really am.
But look, give you an example. Take your best friends or your spouse, for example. Isn't that the best gift that you can give them? Is to be completely yourself and to be completely honest. Isn't
Absolutely.
isn't that
I do all
like
the
a
time.
privilege? So like that's how I see it. If I'm giving you this information, is because I feel comfortable enough or safe enough to give you this information. Now, whether you choose to accept it or reject it, that's up to you. That's not on me. But if I'm doing it, is because I feel that comfortable. I feel that safety to be able to do that. So I think that's an amazing privilege and an amazing gift to give to someone when you can be fully yourself and fully honest.
Mhm.
So I think that's a barrier that we create ourselves and say, hey, maybe this person's going to react this way. We have no idea. First things first, we never know how they're going to react, but we create these scenarios in our head and they're like, well, maybe they'll say this and maybe they'll say that. It's like those times where have you ever had an argument and then you leave the argument and you're like, damn, I should have said this. I should have said that. I should have said that. Does that ever happen to you or no?
Yeah, I would say yes. Um, and you know, I'm listening to you say this, and I'm trying to put myself in different situations here, like on what I would say or what I would not say. And I keep on going back to, I'm so open with my conversations these days with most people. It's this like the certain little things that still hold me back. It's just certain little things that scare me. And I don't know. And I think and I go back to it's probably the anxious attachment that's in me still, that's there, that fear of abandonment. Like, I'm not going to say this because I'm going to be abandoned, right? I know it. I can say it out loud. I can say the quiet part out loud to myself. And I don't feel that. I don't feel like I'm going to be abandoned if I say these things. But I go into this protective mode of, hey, don't say it because you're going to feel this pain, or don't say it or they're going to feel pain. And that's not even up to me. If they feel pain from something I said, it's not like that's not on me to worry about their pain. I have to say it because it's a true statement. I need to get it out in the open. And I know this. And I know there's a lot of people like that. And it's one of those things that I'm working on. But it's difficult because when you feel that pain and you know that it's like putting your hand in the fire, like, oh God, that really, really hurt. I wonder if I did it on the side of the fire, maybe it still hurts. Dang it. Well, what if I go on the top of the fire? Like, it's one of those things. Like, it's like, you know what the pain is. And eventually you're like, fuck it. I'm not going to put my hand in the fire anymore. I don't want to do this.
It's crazy we have these conversations because when you look back at the episodes that we already recorded, there's a bunch of little nuggets in every single episode that always come back to the same thing. And what I'm thinking of right now is boundaries, right? Once again, you're setting boundaries. And because you're setting boundaries, you're afraid of the reaction of the other person because you're setting boundaries.
Right.
It doesn't make sense because, like you said, the boundaries that you set, those belong to you. They don't belong to anybody else. And so if you're putting them up, you're setting these boundaries, not these walls, because there's a difference between setting up walls, building up walls, or setting boundaries. If you're building up a wall, that's going to shut you down. That's going to catch up with you later on. But the setting boundaries is, hey, listen, there's a situation that I feel uncomfortable with, and I just don't want it to happen again. That's okay. And then in your mind, you're just thinking, well, if I say that, I'm creating a boundary. This boundary might make the other person think that I'm building a wall. They're not going to do it again. It might create this awkwardness in our relationship. And maybe I'll be abandoned. Maybe they'll never talk to me again. Maybe they're going to get mad and we're going to get into a fight. And you start questioning all this, but it has nothing to do with you. Like you said, someone's reactions has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with what they're dealing inside their brain and inside their heart. So if you say something that bothers you, which let's say is not so bad, and they overreact and they turn this into a fight, that has nothing to do with you, man. That's all about them. They're dealing with shit on their own, and now they're taking it out on you because you said something.
Yeah, but you instigated it.
How?
You instigated. You threw gas on that fire. The flame was nice and low, and then you threw gas on the fire.
You didn't know there was a fire. You didn't know there was a fire because they never talked to you about something. Like a situation, like in a relationship. Let's say they're having the shittiest day of their life, right? And they don't tell you anything. You think everything's normal. You even ask them, is everything okay? And they're like, yeah, everything's fine. And then you go and say, okay, great. Well, she's fine or he's fine. I'm going to set a boundary. You set a boundary. That's the cherry on the sundae. They explode. How are you supposed to know that they were having a shitty day if they weren't even able to communicate with you?
Or if it comes back to you later on, they say, well, you should have pushed. You should have asked me more. You should have been there for when? You told me everything was fine.
Exactly. So how the hell did you instigate it? And that most of the time, that's what happens is because you set a boundary, and sometimes, most of the time, you just say it at the wrong time. Yeah. It's not it wasn't the right time to say it. But how are you to know that?
Yeah. And here's one thing that I've been working on. So I really compare it to driving down a road with your brand new car and you see all these potholes. Okay. And some potholes you can hit, they're like dunk, and it's not so bad. But some potholes you kind of steer around, right? And you're like, shit. And you got to come through that road to get back home again, and those potholes are not going to go anywhere. And you still like, okay, well, maybe I'll slow down. I'll go into the pothole slow and I'll come out so I won't wreck my front end. That's kind of how I see some of the bigger conversations, right? Now, my street in the past 3 years, I've got a nice paving machine. I got the little packer, the thing that goes over the, that packs it all down. I've learned how to pave my road to make sure that my road is nice and paved and nothing's wrong. But however, once in a while when I'm going, I said, I just filled that pothole. Where did that sinkhole come from? And then I have to try to distinguish why that pothole is there. And then my brain goes into this whole committee thing where I have to distinguish why it's there and when do I bring it up and da-da-da-da-da and that kind of stuff. And sometimes the potholes show up without me knowing. And it's past trauma. It's past something that just shows up. And Yeah. So, do
You know
like
what's funny about that?
Do you like that analogy, by the way?
Yeah, and I'm smiling because like
I see you
it's
smiling.
it's funny. It's funny you say that because I was watching. I like little instructive videos, right, on social media. I like to watch little instructive videos. Okay,
Like,
and there's a
like what? And like what kind of instruction?
what I'm gonna tell you
Okay.
exactly the pothole situation. I watched a video about potholes.
Did
Okay,
you really?
I swear to God.
Today on How It's Made, find out how to fill a pothole.
Kind of, but this is super relatable to what you just said. Okay, if there's a pothole, we're talking about potholes. Okay, which is for you in the context, it's about these relationships and stuff, right? If there's a pothole, did you know that the slower you go, the more it's going to damage your car, and the faster you go, the less it damages your car?
Are you
Think
serious?
think about it. If you're going 5 miles an hour, I'm going to use miles for you, right? You got a
Okay.
hole, right? Your car's not going fast enough. So what it does is it goes into the pothole, and then obviously, you hit it pretty well, pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going 120 miles an hour, your speed is so fast that you just literally float right over it. So you'll get the little dink, but you're not gonna go into it because you're going too fast,
Depending on
right?
what kind of car you drive, though. Have you seen those videos on TikTok where they are animated and they have like all the speed bumps and they have like the Audi R8 doing 100 miles an hour and it shows the car destroy and then it has a Buick and then it has a Chevy. Ever seen those ones? Huh? Huh?
Yeah.
Smart guy?
But
Oh,
potholes. Now we're not talking about speed bumps. We're talking about potholes. Okay, just for your
Just saying.
information. So the pothole, you can literally go right over it.
Mhm.
So this is pretty relatable to what we're saying because the faster you tell the person what's going on, the faster you're through with it. That's what I'm thinking when you're talking about this.
Oh, and
We're
now you know the rest of the story.
there, right? So
That was cool.
instead, you're just going like you're thinking and you're thinking, and the more you're doing that, the more it's going to impact your wheel because you're going to hit hard because you're going too slow.
Right.
So just get done with it.
Right. So the moral of the story here is, people, is if you have a pothole and you don't want to deal with it, slam
fix it.
slam your gas pedal to the ground, like as far as it'll go. Skirt over that pothole as fast as you can and get over it. But the pothole's still there.
That's it. Yep. But that's not up to you to fix.
But it's your pothole.
Not your job.
Yes, it is.
Nope. It's somebody
Why
else's.
isn't it what? It's my pothole on
No, it's
my
not.
street.
No, and exactly. So it's the city that has to fix it.
What
And
city?
that's
Who is the city in this story?
well, the therapist.
No, I'm the therapist. You're the therapist. Like the therapist gives you where to buy asphalt. Like they say, go down to the local asphalt place. They have the best asphalt in town. Here's the asphalt. Why is he Southern all of a sudden? He's a
I don't know.
Southern asphalt guy. But he gives you the asphalt, or she gives you the asphalt, and then it's up to you to pave that thing over. I don't think
Sure.
I don't think it's like someone is going to come fix it.
Well, what I'm saying is that most people have issues, right? Most people have issues. We've talked this, I don't know in which episode, but we said everybody needs therapy.
Mhm.
Everybody needs therapy. Everybody needs the tools. Okay. So there's certain situations I think that you just have to back off and say, look, this is not up to me. I've done the work. I've gotten the tools. Now it's up to the other person to do the same thing. That's kind of what I'm saying. Sometimes it's not up to you. They have to do work on themselves also.
So what if you see the pothole? It's your pothole. You know it's yours, and
Yeah.
and you're asking someone in that relationship, say, hey, you have some really good asphalt that I really could use that could coat this thing over nicely,
Mm-hmm.
and I can fill it in and I can coat it nicely. But you're worried to ask them because they don't have much asphalt left. They only have like a half a wheelbarrow, and you have like 14 potholes to fix. Like what at that point? Like
Okay,
what are you gonna do? Like, hey, go buy some more asphalt.
What's so hard about communicating that though?
Nothing.
What's so difficult about me asking you, hey Mario, listen, there's tools that I'm missing, and I think you might have them, and I would really, really appreciate that you share them with me.
Mhm.
What's wrong with saying that?
Nothing. But if you don't have the strength to say that, dude, it's hard even to think it. That thought doesn't come to your mind. Like that thought process that you just said right now doesn't come to someone's mind when they're in the shit.
But
When
that's
they're
what
in the shit.
that's what I'm trying to make you realize.
I know.
What strength, what strength do you need to ask a simple question like that?
Mhm.
What strength is needed? And I'm just challenging you here. What
I mean,
strength do you
I-
need to ask a simple question like that?
I don't know, dude.
And say, hey,
it's communicate.
help.
It's I know it's It's learning to have, confidence within yourself. It's learning to, being able to communicate open and honestly and to be honest with yourself and your own emotions. I get that. But there's some topics, dude, that are still very, very touchy. They're very, very touchy.
And I get that. Yeah.
And as strong as I know I am these days, and as much progress as I made in myself, it doesn't mean like I've made it. I haven't made it to Moldor and throwing the ring in. I'm like, I'm done. I did it. This quest that I'm on, my mental health journey that I'm on, I feel like I'm going to be on for the rest of my life.
Mhm.
It's just going to get easier. I'm going to get stronger. Like first day of hiking, which I don't hike, but the first day of hiking is always going to be harder than when you've been doing it for 5 years. Like then you can jump out of the
100%.
car, you have like your perfect shoes, and you're away you go. Next thing you know, you're on the top of the mountain. You're like, this is great. I can't wait to go tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's where I feel I am. Like now I feel like on this mental health journey that I'm on, I feel like I'm getting better. Because when I talk to others, a friend of mine yesterday, we were talking about, he had an opportunity. He's going to listen to this and he's be like, oh, damn, he's talking about me again. But he had an opportunity to work with a relative of his that he hasn't seen in a long time, that, he wasn't sure. And he was all excited to like get into business and do something with this relative. And his wife was like, you haven't seen him in a long time. Like, should we think this through? And he was like, no, this is really good. And this and that, like, this is a good idea. And he was selling her on it and he couldn't wait to tell me, and he knows that if he brings something to me, having bipolar and ADHD, I'm going to pounce his ass, like I'm like the recovering alcoholic. Then to say, hey dude, I'm going to a bar with some friends tonight and I think I'm going to be okay. So I'm like that sponsor. And he told me about the story and I was like, that's really, really, that's really cool that it happened. And what did your wife say? And he was like, well, this and that. He's like, she wasn't, she was questioning me. And I think she got a little bit mad because I was trying to sell it to her. I said, you need to learn to shut up. You need to learn to shut up and listen. I said, it's not about the opportunities. I said, I'm not trying to criticize you, but when you have a mental health disorder like bipolar, the dopamine that you get for something new is your new drug. You can't wait to get that new drug. And the one thing you bypassed when you asked your wife when she was unsure, that was your committee. If she says, I'm not sure about this, that's your cue to shut up, walk away, digest what she said. You're not a used car salesman. You're not having to sell her your idea. Because at the end of the day, if she comes back to you and says, you know what, this is not part of our plan. He's like, well, I really don't have a plan. I said, it's time to make a plan. It's time to write it down. I said, your life has to be visual. You have to see what, and if someone comes to you and says, hey, I have an idea, I want to do this and that, you can go back to that and say, it's not part of my plan. And it's okay to have a plan. Just like you said, that's a boundary. That's your boundary. Like set those boundaries for your life. And I said, at the end of the day, if your wife says, I don't think this is good for us, and you have a diagnosis like you do, you better shut up. And I think that's what a lot of men, and I don't care how much hate I get for this, a lot of men have to learn to shut the fuck up and listen. Just listen. One of the things I learned in therapy is you had to say, I hear you, in couples therapy. I hear you saying this. Listen to those words, guys. Like listen to those words. When someone says, I hear you, like make sure you're hearing them. Make sure your ears are open and make sure you're ingesting what your partner says. And it goes both ways, guys and girls, whatever the case may be. If your partner's saying something to you, just listen, shut up and listen. I got in trouble this week for interrupting you and I listened and I'm doing much better today.
You, dude, don't you dare say you listened. You were having a hard time as
now.
Dude, not now. When that situation happened, you just couldn't admit it. Couldn't admit
it. I was more messing with her. Seriously.
But
that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Because I know when you have ADHD, and it's the end of the day, or in the morning for that matter, it's hard because you're so excited. You want to get that word out there. You want to get that sentence out. And we had conversations with people this week, Pat, when they have ADHD. And it's just like when you see it happening, I'm like, how rude. How dare they interrupt me right now?
But that's my question to you, like, because you're talking about your friend here about the situation that he's been through. You're able to give people advice,
right?
You're able to give people advice, but when it comes to you,
no,
You
I mean,
can't.
yes, I am able to give myself advice, but I'm going back to like there's certain situations that I just kind of like, yeah, I'm not gonna.
But that's what I'm
That right
saying.
now.
So if you were in the same situation, but someone was telling you about that situation, you would be the first one to be like, hey, you should maybe try this or try that and try this and try that. You'd be the
Oh,
first one. I know
first
you
one,
enough.
first one.
I know you enough.
Yeah,
So
100%.
why can't you do it to yourself?
I'm learning. I'm learning to do it. Like I think I've done really good in the last couple of years, but like I said, there's certain situations where it's like, don't go there, Mario. That's not worth it right now. Um, and then what I do, and it's not, and I say, I'm never going to go there, Pat. I'm not saying I'm never going to go there. I practice these things. So what I do is situations that are harder for me to talk about. I practice in my mind. How is this going to go? And then how am I going to present it? That's the big thing too, is how I present it. It can't come off as like, this has been bothering me and I can't like, I want to present it very caring and how important this is to me. And I don't come off as like, this is important to me and you need to listen, no, it's like, this is important to my mental health and how I function. And it's easier for me if I'm able to explain it to you like this. And then if you tell it to me in a way that I'm able to hear you. Sometimes communication, even though you're speaking the same language as that person, they may perceive those words differently, and body language has everything to do with it. Smiling, looking at them, so a lot has to do with it. So if it's important for you to hear someone say something to you in a different way, let them know. Say, hey, it's really important for me to share this with you. And I want to hear your honest opinion. But when you share it with me, it's easier for me if I'm able to hear it in X way or whatever the case may be. But communicate that with them,
But that's called constructive criticism. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
like if you're doing that, that's constructive criticism. And I think a lot of people, they have issues with that. When somebody opens up their mouth and tells you, "Hey, Mario, this is here's something I have to tell you," and then they tell you, right? And it's constructive. It's just
Mhm.
information where it can make you better. It can help you in a situation, and then you deflect it. That's it comes out the same thing. You're deflecting it. So there's a bit of avoidance in there because you know that maybe the other person's saying the truth, and you're like, "Oh, I don't like your truth," because you said it before. I hear you. There's got to be that sentence. I hear you, but sometimes it's not. I hear you. It's, well, thank you for telling me, but I don't agree, and that just
But
creates
you're allowed to
crazy.
say that too.
Yeah, of course you can say that.
You're allowed to say
But
it. Now,
100% you
I
can
know
say
what
that.
you're talking about, and I'm not going to bring up the actual conversation that we had, but I know what you're talking about. But I was under the impression that it was coming from somebody else, and that's why I went there very quickly. And I think you know what I'm talking about. But I was thinking it was something else, and I was like, what the
It's
hell,
it's
Um,
constructive, but
but
and I'm
it
not I'm
is all
not
constructive.
generalizing. Like I'm not saying just a situation. Like in general, people, not just you. And I, believe me, I was there too. I was there too. And one of the favorite sentences I have is, "I agree to disagree."
Right.
But
Right.
same thing. I've learned to do the "I hear you" now instead.
Hmm.
Instead of saying, "Well, I agree to disagree." I hear you. Like, I
Okay.
hear you, and I understand where you're coming from, and I understand why this could have made you feel this way.
Hmm.
Because my opinions, I have very strong opinions. You know this, right? And I don't have a problem at all expressing them. And I also understand that not everybody agrees with me, and that's okay. But it also means that it doesn't make me right on everything. And I've said this so many times on the podcast. We're not therapists. We're not coaches. We're not blah, blah, blah. We're just human beings with opinions, and we're sharing them.
Right.
And you can decide if you agree with this or not. And if you don't, that's fine. I'm not going to hate you for it. But
Hmm.
there was a time where, yes, in my triggers, in my trauma, my goal was to convince you that I was right.
Hmm.
And that's so bad.
It's funny. I was watching this new, I think it's a new documentary on HBO Max. It's about Pee Wee Herman. It's Paul Rubens' story. You know who Pee Wee Herman is?
I don't know.
You don't know who
Sorry.
Pee Wee Herman is?
Please don't hate. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Let me Google it. P.
What?
Herman.
Yeah, Pee Wee Herman.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone.
Wow.
If you guys are,
Pat's
again,
like,
I don't.
yeah, but you're
Is this
35. You
is
should
this
know who
is
Pee
this
Wee Herman.
TV
Oh
or
my God. Okay. So anyway,
I have no idea.
there's this new documentary on HBO Max called The
Never
Real
seen it.
Pee Wee. Pee Wee Herman. He was Pee-wee's Playhouse, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Paul Rubens, he passed away.
Never seen.
He was an amazing actor. Paul Rubens was great. But he has this documentary talking about his life as this character. He played this character called Pee Wee Herman, and for years and years and years, when that character became really popular, and people were like in the movies, Pee Wee Herman played by himself. No, it was Paul Rubin playing that character. But after years, he became like, when Pee Wee Herman got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, it wasn't Paul Rubin's name on there. It was Pee Wee Herman's name on there, right? So his character became bigger than him, really. And it's funny, as he was trying to evolve into this character in show business, exactly what you said just now. It's like when people said something to him, like he had the final say, because he had so much confidence that he was going to make it, that this was going to be, like, hey, thank you for sharing, but fuck you, I'm doing what I do. And he had people in his life that were supportive of that drive, So how do you balance that? Like when I was watching that documentary last night, I was like, damn, that's a lot. But how do you balance that self-confidence that, like, I thank you, but I'm right, And how do you balance that in a relationship when you have two people that are trying to communicate, an ultimate goal, and you have that thing like, I hear you, but I'm right, And you, Pat, are very much not like him. Have you looked up Pee Wee Herman yet? Did you see a picture of him?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Nothing?
I checked. I've
Zero?
never seen.
Oh
him
my
before.
God. Okay.
No.
Wow.
Sorry, everybody.
No, it's okay. That's just shocking. But even to your point, like, you're very confident. You've done a lot of hard work on you. Saying something like, I hear you, to someone where you're right. Do you just let it go, or do you have to prove your point?
No, that's the thing. Well, I used to, and now that's the thing. I have a tendency now to be like, I hear you. Like you're allowed to your opinion, and instead of just, I hear you, and it doesn't have to evolve from that. It's just, I understand. It makes the person feel understood, right? Because they're also trying to validate their point. When you have two people arguing, that's usually what it is, right? It's two people trying to win.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's not what an argument is. It's not two people who's going to win. It's you versus the problem. And I think that's the biggest issue. So, and that, coming back to what you started on this episode, that's what happens. If you see it that way, where an argument is like, well, somebody here has to win. Somebody's got to validate their point. There's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. No, see it otherwise. See it like, okay, here we go. We have an issue, and we're two people. So now it's us against the problem. How do we fix it? Now you're working as a team.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go into the fight in thinking, well, someone's going to win, that's going to be ugly. That's going to turn out, it's going to turn out ugly. But if you work at it together, it's completely different. The mindset isn't the same. So now there's like this whole teamwork vibe happening, and you're like, all right, well, how do we fix this? And that's where the I hear you becomes a little more easy.
Yeah.
Because
like, I hear you is validating it too. Like, I hear them when you say something like that, like, I hear you, that's validating the words that came out of their mouth, first of all. So it starts in a positive side. So saying, I hear you, honey, saying that this is important to you, but I would also, wait, you're not allowed to come up with a solution. Are you allowed to come up with solutions? I don't know.
of course.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you want.
But, I hear you saying this. However, this format of how we communicate, or this thing, what we do, doesn't align with what I like. So is there a way we can meet in the middle to be able to communicate better, that kind of stuff, and I get that. I understand that.
Yeah. I've also had situations too, where like, it's an open discussion and we're talking, and there's somebody in the group that's super closed off, and they initiate an argument because they're trying to prove their point.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm like, whoa.
Where'd that come from?
Yeah, where'd that come from? We were literally just talking a second ago. Like, this is just an open discussion.
Yeah.
We're talking about our opinions. And then the person goes, well, yeah, but it feels like you're always trying to convince us that this is the right thing. No, I'm not, because I love chatting. I love talking. I love having very deep conversations, and I love hearing everybody's point of view. So once I'm done with mine, please share yours. Like, I'd love to hear it. Mm-hmm. And then some people will be like, well, what the hell? It just looks like you're trying to convince us and blah, 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 blah. And that's when I realized, okay, this is not about me. This is not about me, because I wasn't going into this with that intention. You know, I was going in this with a super easygoing intention of just having a discussion. And now here you are lashing out on me and just overreacting because you think I'm trying to convince you that I'm right. But I was just here trying to get everybody's opinion.
Right.
And that doesn't come from me. That comes from you.
Mm-hmm.
You got something to fix now
Yeah.
because I was good. You know what I mean? So I think all contexts, you know, there's so many factors that you can factor in these situations. But again, I just want to bring it back to the fact that usually when these things happens, when you're setting boundaries, when you're having those conversations and somebody just reacts like crazy, that's not a you problem.
Yeah.
That's a you
It's a
problem.
you
It's not a me.
problem. Yeah.
It's not a me problem. That's a you problem. I was just chatting, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why it comes back to, I think everybody needs those tools. And when I say tools, I mean the mirror, you know, and the tools are not that expensive. You have one in your bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Go into the bathroom after these things happen and just look at yourself.
Yeah.
Was this how it was meant to go down? Or, you know, was this brought up and could this have, you know, went on another direction is what I'm trying to say.
And I think even saying it out loud too, like not in the mirror, but look in the mirror. Don't only look at yourself, say it out loud. Hear those words that you're saying, you know, and pretend like if they're going to hear you say these words, you know, don't think how they're going to act, but just say them out loud. Like send it through your own committee in your own head. So which brings me now, Pat, to one of our favorite parts of the show last week. It's trivia time. Cue music. Here we go. Okay. So this week I want to talk about everything that we've been talking about today. And it's going to go on percentages, Pat. So you're going to have to guess percentages, which is the highest and lowest percentages of the answers I give you. So the topic is, are we still meant for each other? Okay. Are we still meant for each other? So think about relationships you've been in the past, long-term, mostly long-term, short-term probably aren't relevant for these ones. Most of the long-term relationships.
Thanks,
bro. Sorry, dude, you've been in some long-term relationships. So let's jump right in. When was the last time I felt truly understood by you? So the three answers, and you just have to try to tell me which is the highest one, right? Sometimes, not for a long time, recently / often. So in today's society, this is not years ago, in today's society, what do you think the highest percentage of those three are? Recently, sometimes, not for a long time.
And the question was, just repeat.
When was the last time I felt truly understood by you?
So
what do you think?
I just want to understand. This is like somebody going out on the street and asking these questions.
Yeah. So they polled like 100 people. There was 100 people that they polled, and 100 couples, and they asked these questions. So when was the last time I felt truly understood by you? Recently, sometimes, not for a long time. Which do you think is the highest one? What percentage is the highest one?
I'm going to say sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay. Sometimes is actually the middle one. So sometimes came in at 31%. 31% of couples said sometimes. So now you have recently or not for a long time. Which one do you think is higher?
Well, then not for a long time.
Actually, you're wrong. That was the lowest one. 27%. 42% of couples these days say recently and often. Actually, on when they were
interesting.
Yeah, pretty cool, right?
That's not what my community says.
Yeah, well, that's these 100 people did. Okay, so do we still get quote? Do we still get each other, or are we coasting off old versions of who we used to be? Do we still get each other, or are we coasting off old versions that we used to be? So the top three are: still get each other, a mix of both, we're coasting. What do you think?
In my community, we're coasting, but I'm going to say the middle one, B.
A mix of both?
A mix of both.
Correct. Yeah, 45% of couples say that.
I feel like this
we're coasting is at 17%.
Right. So these polls were they went into like this center where like all couples are happy.
Really?
That's where they polled.
Trivia questions, response stats. Yeah, that was just basic questions asking.
I don't honestly with what is said on my lives and in my community, this is the complete opposite.
Really?
So Yeah, let's
But
continue.
17% said we're coasting, dude.
That's not a lot.
No, 17% are coasting. You don't understand that. 17% are coasting.
That's what I'm saying. That's not a
Right.
lot.
That's not a lot.
No.
No, that's
And,
not a
but
lot.
if you were to ask your friends if they're coasting,
Right.
90% would tell you yes.
Yeah.
So,
This list is bullshit, is what I'm saying.
well, that's what I'm telling you. You don't have to agree. I
Right.
hear you.
This is bullshit. Let's get
I
rid of
hear
this
you.
list.
But seriously, just 1 second before we continue. You understand what I'm saying, right? If you look at your friends right now and you were to ask them these questions, how many of your friends would tell you, no, we're good, unless they're not saying the truth. But most of my people are coasting. Like, I'll be real. I'm gonna say it on this podcast. Let's go on. Next question.
But I agree with you. Like, I feel like when I'm looking at these answers and I'm like, well, that's not, I think
that's not a lot. 17 people is not a lot.
I think it should be like 48% should have been coasting. But,
and in the chat, and the comments, what do you guys think about this list?
Okay, next question. What's one value I hold now that's different from when we first got close? What's one value I hold now that's different when we first got close? This is actually 4 answers on this one. So you have spiritual shift, political or social, career shift, or mental health. What's one value?
I want to say spiritual.
So spiritual is actually number 3 at 21%.
Damn.
On this one. So you have you have career shift, mental health, or political or social. Something that is different. Like
mental.
Mental is number 1. Yeah. Mental health was number 1.
Yeah.
The one value that we hold now that's different than when we first met. And I guess that goes back on this morning. What we're talking about is communicating and understanding each other's position and how, they live life. So so mental health. Would your community agree with that?
I think
it seems
so.
like we're going back to your community constantly on these questions. So
no, it was just an example I was giving.
Okay. No, it wasn't more than an example, but whatever.
Well, I think I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you. Next question.
I like that. I hear you. When something great happens, are you one of the first I want to tell? So when something great happens, are you one of the first I want to tell? So there's 4 answers
yes
to this
no?
one again.
Oh, okay.
So not anymore, depends, I still inspire you, or do we just tolerate each other now? And the first one is yes. So yes, always, depends, or not anymore.
Yes, always, depends.
Or
I say always. According to this poll, I'm gonna go always.
Always. Correct. 48% of couples say they can't wait to tell each other. And I agree with that. When something big happens.
That's what I'm saying. When you're happy in your relationship.
Yeah, 48% of people say yes.
Yeah, that's why this poll is happy relationships. Right. I'm going to go with that.
36. Maybe I should have typed in on horrible relationships. What are the percentages?
Or just
36% says 36% says depends on what it is.
Yeah,
and then 16% says not anymore.
Okay.
So, do I still inspire you, or do we just tolerate each other?
You did that one.
No, I didn't. I did not at all. That was here. So still inspired, tolerate fondly, or tolerate resentment. Those are the 3. Do I still inspire you, or do we just tolerate each other? Still inspired, tolerate fondly, or tolerate / resentment?
Still inspire.
Still inspire. Very good. 41%. On these happy bastards that are out there.
Now that I know
enjoying life,
where the poll was taken, then yes.
So if you're one of Pat's followers, just answer the opposite on this one, and you'll win every one of these.
Yeah.
How do you handle conflict? Top 3: talk it out, avoid it. Now that I know your community, now I'm guessing as I'm reading these too. So talk it out, avoid it. 1 gives in.
Talk it out.
Talk it out. 37%. This is amazing. And on Pat's community, it would be 1 gives in, or probably avoid it. Let's go. No, actually, oh my God. Talk it out was at the top. That's actually avoided, dude.
This is easy.
42% is said. 42% said it. No, 42% said avoid it on this one. That was the top one. Last deep conversation without distractions. Last month, this year, maybe we don't talk anymore.
This year, maybe.
Correct. 40%. That was I could tell how much Pat's loving this. So
It's too easy.
if you're getting all of these, you're in a pretty good relationship right now. How do you feel heard in this relationship? I'm going to switch this now. So everything that's highest is going to be the lowest. Now we're going to switch it up. So do you feel heard in this relationship? Yes, sometimes, not really. So if it's last on this list, it's true. So now I'm doing the switcheroo on you there, big
So
guy.
I'm gonna go. Not really.
Correct. Dude, you're nailing these now.
What the hell, dude?
Okay, so staying with that mode, complete opposite
Right.
world on this one, okay?
All right.
It's easy to bring up what's bothering you. Yes, hold it in, don't bother, which is the top one on this one.
Hold it in.
Sorry, that's number 2.
Oh,
which is actually number 1 on this sheet, but it's actually number 2 in your sheet. Number 1 on this one would be don't bother.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
would you say that's right in the TFE world?
it's not just TFE, dude. It's really not, because there's a bunch of people I talk to that are not part of my community and would say the same thing.
Would absolutely say same thing. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, this is like literally, I feel this poll is like the perfect relationship.
but we're
which
not.
is
Now we
great.
switched it.
Yeah,
We switched it. So,
All right.
we are fully honest or selectively honest. Most honest, selective. We hide things. Long-term relationships. What do you think? It's so
We
funny.
hide things.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. Exactly. But in this relationship, since they live in La La Land,
It's perfect relationship.
most honest.
They-
I tell him everything.
Everything, and
You
I'm
are
not
the
scared of
most-
being judged. Right? I'm not
No,
scared of being
never
judged.
scared.
No,
Okay.
not scared of putting boundaries. It's
Okay,
all,
now we're going to go to unfinished business. Something forgiven, but not forgotten. People, yes, maybe, or no. Something forgiven, but not forgotten. Yes, maybe, no.
Yes.
Very good. Yes, in good relationship, or yes in normal relationship in reality
Normal.
world.
Normal.
Yes is 53%. That was a pretty high one on that one.
No.
Swept anything major under the rug. Definitely, maybe, or no.
Definitely.
41% is saying that yes, they sweep everything under the rug, and then they wonder why they're in therapy 5 years after in the relationship, because they just swept everything under the rug. Doesn't matter. Just put it under the rug. Don't deal with it. No one was hearing each other in that relationship at all.
I really want to meet these 100 people though.
I know.
That's what I'm going. Like, my head right now is like, who, where, when are these people?
We should
Where?
do a tour. We should be like Billy on the street and talk to people and ask them about relationships.
Dude, have you seen the TikTok lady couples therapy?
No, I'm sorry, I haven't.
Oh my Lord. You have to listen to that.
Couples therapy.
Her TikTok is called Couples Therapy.
Okay.
It's a woman therapist,
Okay.
and she records her therapy sessions with her clients.
Is
It is insane,
she
dude.
allowed to say that? Do that?
Well, she probably has consent, obviously.
But they don't show images?
Oh, it's all there, dude. It's all there.
Oh my God, I'm heading there right now.
And she looks I don't want she's got these like this, she's got this stare, dude, that'll kill a fox. I don't know if that's even an expression. It's insane. And there's a couple
one?
that just yes. Yeah, look at that. 1 million followers.
Wow.
It's insane, dude.
Okay, let's
Just put one on. Just put
let's
one on real quick.
Let's put one on here quick.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Just listen. There's one that was there's a woman and a guy. The woman just
Hold on. Ready?
yeah. I
I
think
just
that's the one.
expect more than I'm getting.
Expect. You're using a very particular word.
That's
You're
the one.
not saying I long for. You're saying I expect, which means that sets up Rod to fail.
Okay.
You expect, and then the person fails you. So that's already a dynamic that is toxic for the two of you.
Because then I get a response.
But what does he expect? If you were expecting, what does he expect?
I don't know what I don't know what I want.
That's important.
I'm not sure
But
what
you
I
know
want.
you're disappointed.
Because right.
And none of you even know what's missing.
Not even close.
Yeah. You don't know what you want. You don't know what is expected. Both of you just know it fails.
Correct.
Meaning there's nothing there, really. This is like some cover up for something else.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. But the reason I sometimes choose to avoid these conversations is maybe because they're difficult. And dare I say anything about finances, and that's it. That's, you know,
But
that's
it's
it.
not.
Hold on.
Okay. Sorry.
There's a lot of pressure on me.
That's
I think
amazing.
I want
Dude.
myself. It's not bad to kind of, be more successful for a second.
Wow.
I'm telling you,
Couples therapy. I'm following her now.
this
Damn.
TikTok has got me addicted. Like I've been watching this stuff like for hours, dude. And the way people talk to each other. There's a couple that I just listened to because they do like it's the whole story basically almost. And like there's one dude that I just watched. I was like, if a woman would even dare talk to me that way.
Oh, which one was it? Do you remember?
Oh my god,
That's
man.
amazing.
I was like, there's no way I would just not tolerate that behavior. It was insane.
Do not or do want to talk about sex?
Oh. No. Oh, I'm not opposed to anything at this point.
Okay. And you?
It's part of the conversation, so it's
It's the same person all the time. I don't know why that's on. I'm picking. Is it the same couple?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well,
It's
well,
not
you
the same
have
couple. You have different couples on
you have
here.
different ones. Yeah.
So if you're wondering what the name is, it's Couples Therapy. So it's Couples Therapy Showtime. So it's on TikTok at Couples Therapy Showtime.
Yeah.
Wow, this is I'm going to be doing this for.
I'm telling you, you're gonna get lost in it. And there's like some couples that I was like, oh my god, dude, the way they talk to each other.
It's mind blowing when I hear stuff like that, dude. It is mind blowing when you hear that firsthand. Like when you hear that firsthand, it is crazy how, and it's like, how did you survive this long? Like, and then I hear it. Have you ever heard a couple arguing or say, or I don't know about you. I take it really sensitively when I hear a man belittling a woman in public, or even the way that they talk to each other like that.
Well, so the episode
kills
I'm
me.
telling you about, it's the woman that's doing that to the man.
Oh my gosh, really?
Dude, she's like destroying him in front of the therapist, and I'm like, I'm telling you, I was sitting on my couch, and I'm like, dude, if I was being talked to like that, I would get up and I would say, you know what, this is
Wow.
no way. This poor man.
Pat, find it later and then send it to me, and then I'll link it on today's episode. I'll throw a link on it if you guys want to watch that. And again, sometimes it's nice, not nice. It's hard to watch these kind of things at times, but it's good to realize that even if you see that and you look at your own relationship, sometimes you may compare like, shit, maybe we don't have it that bad, you know?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's really good to look at these things. And you'll get stuff from it too, especially in a situation like this when they're putting everything out on the table. Like you might get something from it. So
It's
cool,
great.
dude. Thanks for sharing that. But
Yeah.
I got to finish my one question here. I have one more.
Yeah, another one.
We still click if we met now. Absolutely, maybe, probably not.
It's the perfect world, so absolutely.
Yeah, and in the real world,
Probably not.
really. But that's very pessimistic of you.
It's not. It's.
What if you're in love with someone?
Mario, on 10 people,
Yeah.
go out in the street. Like seriously, I beg you, like anyone who wants to get this information, go out yourself in the street. I've had these discussions over and over since I've been
Do
on
you know
social media.
nobody that's happy right now?
I do.
Are you fucking serious?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't know anyone that's genuinely happy.
Okay.
What I'm saying is out of 10 people, not 100, out of 10 people, genuinely, maybe one or two couples are happy. Genuinely. So, and that's why I think this poll is
Bullshit.
like it's not bullshit. It's right. If it's taken into a context where, it was done to couples that have done therapy, you know what I mean? Maybe. But if you haven't put in the work, I'm sorry, but like go out on the street and talk to people.
When
They'll
do you
tell
think? When do you think it turns? Is the 7-year itch a real thing?
Yes. I was talking about that yesterday, actually. Passing the 7 years is extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. Most people don't.
Do you think it takes
Get
that
past
long
it.
just to get to really know the person? 7 years?
So what I've learned, I don't know how true this is, but I've learned that the body regenerates itself every 7 years. It's even it goes down to the bone marrow.
Mm.
I read about this, and so after every 7 years, there's this cycle in the human body that it like recycles itself, and so your mind changes, your body changes, everything kind of changes.
Okay.
And so what happens is when we get to that 7 years, and again, I don't know how true this is, but because you're regenerating, your interests and your values and your opinions change. And then it becomes a conflict with the partner that you're with, unless you do like you touch base and say, hey, are we still on the same page?
Mhm.
If you don't do that, the 7 years is extremely difficult to surpass. Apparently, once you pass that 7 years, what's the next date? 15, which would be a little more than 7 years after. So again, bringing it back to another 7 year process. And so apparently it's 7, 15. Those are the hardest years to get by. And after 15, usually it's a good sign you're going to be together for the rest of your life.
So if you go back to your parents, do you think they had 7-15?
Yeah,
Really?
100%. 100%. 100%.
I think times have changed though. Like times have changed as far as getting to know each other and communicating better. I think as well, and finding that sense of autonomy on your own. Like, everyone wants, I really believe that everyone should be themselves and, and live like you need to live. But if you're in a relationship, communicate and understand that that person is not going to be like, you're not molded from the same person, So,
I think too, like the fact that I'm so, I don't want to say obsessed, but the fact that I'm so interested now in like relationships and, the way we think mentally and like couples therapy, like now this is my new thing, like before going to bed, like I'm watching this stuff, and it just feels, especially for my age, 37 years old, being so interested in couples stuff. I don't think it's good for me. I don't think it's because I don't think most people at 37 are at that place, and I think it's probably scary for people that I'm into relationships so much. And I'm so intrigued by it because they're like, holy crap, this guy's like, I don't like
we
this
talked
passion.
about that last week when you're looking, especially you looking for a relationship and they know that you're like the relationship dude, like that's a high expectation that people have to meet. They have to meet you at a level that most people are not there,
That's it. They don't have that capacity, I guess. I don't know.
That's going to be a challenge, especially if they know you. Are you willing to lower your bar a little bit if someone's not there?
Let me rephrase that. Lower it? No. Adjust it? Yes.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lower it. I'm gonna adjust it to the person. I honestly think I think women would rather I game or I like build Legos or something than be so into relationships. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm pretty sure they'd rather
start playing Fortnite online.
Yeah, something like that. I think they'd rather I have another passion. Like, dude, like, I don't know, freaking build Legos or something. Stop being so interested in relationships because they want to avoid it.
What you should do is go get your therapy license. That would probably be good.
No, I like, here's the thing I like about that is every therapist needs a therapist, right? I'm not a therapist, but I need a therapist. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like therapists, and again, I'm not judging here. What I like about natural discussions, I want to put it that way. We talk about our experiences, right? Go to therapy. Your therapist is not going to talk about her experience or his experience. You can't be like in therapy and be like, she's going to ask you a question and you're like, what about you? How's your relationship? They're going to be like, what? I'm asking the questions, bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't relate in therapy. Mm-hmm. You can only, get challenged and ask yourself questions. You can't relate, which is why I think people enjoy this, is because they can relate to us. They're like, oh my God, I'm not the only one going through this.
Yeah.
We're not just like, well, how does that make you feel?
Yeah. Let's try this now. Let's try this. Now close your eyes.
Yeah.
And I really believe that's why our numbers and our downloads are so high in other places around the world. Because you're seeing people, like I heard this yesterday from a good friend of mine that said, you're saying the quiet parts out loud. And most men don't want to hear it. Most men don't want to hear that. And most men won't fucking say it either. So we're saying the quiet part out loud, which is, it's just the truth. It's our truth. And it's not like the ultimate truth, people. This is not like, this is the way, this is our truth. And if you take our truth and take our past pain and our past experiences and some of the things that we've learned and the tools that we've learned, and if you can take one thing from what we say and make it relevant in your life and it makes it a little bit better, our job is complete. Like, we've done what we aim to do, is just to be able to spread something that hurt us that made it better for everybody,
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
And it's a good way to see it. And I think for me, it's like, I just want men and women to understand that it's okay to talk about it. And it's also okay to talk to your friends about it. Because by doing it, like, most people are afraid to talk to their friends about these things, right? Because when you're going out with friends, girls, boys, you're doing boys' night, girls' night, it's rare that someone's going to come up and be like, hey, guys, I have a question. Like, in your relationship, does this happen or does that happen? Everyone stays quiet and, oh, how's your relationship? Everything's great. Everything's great. So who do you vent to?
Yeah.
You can't vent to your partner. You can't vent to your friends. You don't want to go to therapy because, you're ashamed of it or you don't have the financials for it. So who do you vent to?
You. That's
and
what
you
I do.
you don't. And then most people won't even vent to themselves. So you just keep everything in, and it accumulates and accumulates and accumulates. So if this podcast helps you resonate and allows you to reflect, I think that's my biggest, I guess, a concern here is I want people to reflect with this information. Just get them thinking, like, oh, maybe, yeah, maybe I'm in this situation right now, or maybe I could do this, and just better themselves.
So I'm next week on next week's show, I'm actually going to talk to Pat about something that he has as my friend, my brother, and everything about the relationship I have with Pat. Pat has said stuff online recently and on our podcast that has made me question if I could ask him or talk to him about a situation that I'm dealing with without getting resentment or judged on the things that I'm talking about today. And I'm going to think about it a little bit more, and I'm going to bring it to him next week on next week's show. But I'm telling our listeners right now, Pat is one of my potholes. And if you listen to this entire show, you know what I'm talking about right now. So Pat is one of my potholes, and I'm learning right now on how to bring this up with him because I know he's going to be true with me, and I expect him to be true with me. But I'm really understanding if it's going to be something that I'm not expecting, how do I deal with it? So make sure you guys tune in next week, and I'm going to think
God
about
Pod is canceled. He's announcing the God Pod is
next
canceled.
week I'm gone. I'm not even here. But it's what, again, this happens, and this is okay that it happens because Pat is in my circle. So the reason why I'm not just blurting it out is because he means the world to me. And I talk to Pat about everything. And we talk about everything, but there's certain situations that I am worried on how Pat's going to react to it. And I have to be careful.
I love and I hate that you're doing this right now, because if I were to do that to you, you would never accept that.
No,
you're overthinking ass and you over analyzing everything. You would never allow me to do that to you. No. You would call me right after this episode and you'd be like, well, dude, what the hell did you just do? You're not going to make me wait 1 week.
Right. But I want people to tune in next week, and I am going to tell you after this episode.
I don't think that's fair.
I'm going to tell you after this episode, but I'm going to let everyone else know how it went.
You better.
Yeah.
You better. Because if this was the other way around.
Pat's getting a fight. Dude, I would never let you get away with it, ever.
Dude.
But I want people to understand that I even go through this.
Yeah.
With you. And I started thinking about this yesterday, and I knew we were going to talk this morning. But next week's show, I'm going to tell people how
recap.
We're gonna have a recap. I'm not gonna like
wording is important here, people.
I know,
you just saw that.
I just want
you're gonna recap.
This is a play on words. We're trying to get people to listen and tune in next week. Come on now.
Okay, I get some stats.
But anyway, that's our time for today. I'm gonna go fight with Pat and off the air.
You better call me. Right after this.
But everyone, have a great week. A lot of exciting things happening in the near future here with us, and we read some of our stats from our downloads. Thank you so much for those of you listening on Apple Music and on Spotify and on iHeartRadio, downloading our show. Mesmerized on how many people are downloading from all over the world. And so thank you for continuing to listen. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you for just being here. And as Pat said, we hear you, even though we don't. We can't hear you, but we read you. We read you, or something like that.
Well said.
Okay. Love you, brother. Talk to you soon.
Love you too, man.
Have a good day, everybody. See you next week. Bye.